Hey, what's up? Welcome, everybody. Pleasure. We're going to talk about discovering the perfect KOLs for your brand. We'll get started here in a second. We'll get going here in a minute. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Play a little music here for a moment. Perfect. Awesome, everybody. Just waiting on a few things, and then we'll get this flowing. We're going to talk about how to find the right KOLs for your brand. There's so many different KOLs out there in the space, on top of everything changing, new KOLs coming up, whether that they be, 5,000 followers that are really driving, a lot of new users with new organic content into their following. There's so many different new influencers from 5,000 to 500,000 followers. And so it's kind of hard to keep track of all of them that are available for any brand and any niche. So every single KOL has a different following of user, right? A different audience. And some influencers might, or some KOLs, might have a certain percentage of an audience that you may or may not be looking for, right? And they may say they want to start marketing for your brand, and maybe they have a couple different niches that they market to, and so maybe that their audience is only comprised of 25% of the audience that you're looking for. Okay, perfect. We got Israel coming in. Hey, what's up, Israel? Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. How are you, man?
Perfect. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Good.
Nice.
Very good day. Super busy planning a lot of interesting things. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Can't wait to learn more about it. So today, Israel, we are going to discuss discovering your perfect KOL to work with, or KOLs, plural, to match with your brand. Most brands really don't have an idea of the KOL's audience, who's listening and who's watching. And I really would like to get into how do we go about finding the right KOLs for your brand to market properly?
So do you want me to dive straight into how we do it, or just to give you like an overview of my thoughts on it? Because I would love to dive straight into it.
Let's get into it. Let's dive right into it, please.
Okay, so the way that we go with influencers, and that is coming from our own pain and also a lot of our clients' pains, which is paying a lot of money for KOLs and influencers, and getting how do you call it, underperformance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the pain we're coming from, and that pain comes from working with KOLs that you have no idea who their audience is, how engaged their audience is in some cases, and you just hope for the best. We work with KOLs that seems like they're in the same niche as you are. In crypto, a lot of the KOLs are just labeled crypto, but eventually, there's a lot into it, obviously, as we know. Crypto is a big world. And that is where we come from, first of all, just for the introduction. So Web3M, as we like to do in all of our innovations, we come from data and data-driven solutions. And so our systems, our new, relatively new tool for influencers discovery and management is allowing clients or companies that reach out to target KOLs based on their audience alignment, if that makes sense. So let's say I'm a GameFi brand. I have a game. I have an action game, let's say, or like a football manager crypto game, right? Which would be more specific even. And I want to target users that are around gaming in crypto, active in gaming in crypto, and like would be engaged with my game probably. And so with Web3M, what I can do is I can provide either a list of users that are my target audience, or I can provide a name of my competitor, for example, any competitor, right? Or myself in some cases. And what Web3M allow you to do is, or like what Web3M provides is we scan all of the audience that you provided, all of the followers of the accounts that you provided of your competition. And then we check who are the influencers they follow and provide you a full ranking of those KOLs based on the top ones would be the KOLs that are the most followed by that audience. And so the result is, I hope it wasn't too complicated, and let me know if it was, Eric, but the result is that you discover a KOL, or a lot of KOLs in our case, that are actually can be beneficial to your project. Now, our focus would be not on the big ones, because if you want to collaborate with 1, 2, or 5 massive KOLs, you don't need to ask for that, although I would recommend also to use our tools. But let's say you can leverage 500, 1,000 KOLs that are micro KOLs that have 2,000 followers, 5,000 followers that actually are followed by your desired target market. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And there are so many different KOLs, so many new KOLs that are up and coming, from them working so hard throughout the previous market, and now they're just now starting to gain, some major exposure and a very loyal base of followers. And I know how incredibly valuable it can be to work with those KOLs that don't have, 500,000, 1 million followers. They have these core loyal following. And how in the world do you go and find not to mention, those new ones that are coming up, but the ones that are in your niche? How do you go find those?
It's basic. That's exactly like let's say the approach we take. So for example, again, let's talk very practically. I like, kind of like imagining a specific scenario and then go from there. So let's say I'm in gaming, right? I have a game, relatively new game, and I want to target people who are around the same type of games as I am, right? As I develop. And so what I can do is I can literally provide Web3M with a name of 1, 2, 3 of my direct competition that compete for the same audience, right? And then Web3M will analyze the audience of those accounts, of those competitors, and give me the KOLs that are the most followed by those audiences. Again, it is super straightforward. And the result is pretty incredible. And the way for us to indicate a KOL, of course, that is dynamic, but it can be those people who have at least this amount of followers, or at max this amount of followers in some cases, and have a certain amount of engagement in their posts and up. So we filter the criteria for who is a KOL as well. But the main idea here is that we give you like a ready, like a fully operational strategy of finding you KOLs that those are not as let's say, not like, they don't get tens of requests every day, because they're either small KOLs or just people with that even don't even define themselves as KOLs in sometimes. And like people who are just doing their thing and kind of like posting on Twitter, on social, right, and talking about genuine and authentic matters that they know about, then gain momentum, gain followers, and they would probably want to collaborate with you as well, because you come from the same niche. So it's already a good connection between the brand and the KOL. And the strategy here would be to reach a lot of micro influencers or micro KOLs, and leverage our own tools to also do the reach out, which is another pain. Even if you have like a list of 1,000 KOLs, go figure how to reach out to them. And so we also provide a tool for you to reach out. And later on, we will be also providing the tool to get the quotes from those KOLs in advance to your brand, and bringing you a full ready, let's say, deck of potential KOLs with pricing, with everything needed for you to get started. And you only need to give the, let's say, the green light, and you're in touch with them, providing a brief, managing the whole operation, and like communication with them through our platform. And then the nice part that I want to add is the campaign tracking dashboard that we also set up for our clients, which you can literally follow each of your KOL posts and see the full user journey, from engagement to how many people clicked the link or went from the post to whatever destination you had for them, and how many converted. So everything is performance driven as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
so
briefly.
And correct me if I'm wrong. So essentially, after you onboard and you start working with however many KOLs, say you employ 50 KOLs from small to large, each one of those KOLs, you'll be able to see the performance analytics behind all of their actions in regards to your brand's marketing, right?
Yeah, because eventually it's all a matter of like tracking properly. And so think about us tracking first the specific posts of those KOLs highlighting your brand, right? Or activities they take. Eventually it would probably be posts they have about you. And then in advance, you provide those KOLs, trackable links to use to whatever destination, they refer the audience to. And you also, like you as the client, you also have our own tracking pixel implemented in your website or app. And so you can literally track the entire user journey from engaging with the post of this KOL the first time, all the way to being converted into a client, and even further. Yeah.
So not only do you get to see not only do you get to see the conversion and the overall experience with that KOL and how well they're doing, but also you get to see how the users are moving from the experience they have with the KOL and the marketing to the community and what they do in the community and everything. So it's like
yes, exactly.
So you can continue to optimize not only your marketing efforts, but also you're optimizing the user journey based off of the analytics and what you see them liking or disliking from what you're providing. So it's almost like a double value. or probably, I mean, like it's like it's an exponential value where you can continue to optimize your entire campaign from start to finish. So like, so whenever you do onboard these KOLs to your brand, and you start marketing with them, is it just strictly on Twitter that you can acquire these analytics, or is it numerous platforms?
So at the moment, what we provide is I would say, at least for the KOL campaign, is mostly exclusive to Twitter, right? And so at least for tracking the operation, like the posts and the engagement on social media, once the users are referred to the website or the community, obviously we also track those assets or those sources as well. That makes sense.
Okay, got it. Perfect. And we mentioned using on-chain and off-chain data. So I might have missed the part, but whenever it comes to off-chain data, I can see being able to see the audience on both sides, the KOL audience, and of course the company user base audience, being able to see that information. But how does on-chain data get factored into this campaign or this initiative?
Yeah, so there are plenty of ways to think about it, but for example, by the way, not necessarily that it has to do only with on-chain data, because the whole idea behind what we do is let's say, is the touch point, or like the importance of combining between on-chain and off-chain data. So at this case, it would be more of a social analytics or social targeting that we do rather than on-chain. But eventually, whenever it comes to, let me give you an example, whenever it comes to the conversion, so you might be monetizing users and your conversion might be, let's say, someone depositing funds, right? And so, for example, after converting some users coming from specific KOLs, you can indicate back what is the value of this KOL in terms of like holdings of his audience, if that makes sense. So what we do, and not only retroactively, I'm not talking only about after you convert, but even in advance, you can provide a metric of, okay, so we got this KOL, we know that they are followed by this audience, we go ahead and resolve this audience back to wallets, and then provide a potential in dollar value holdings of those users. You know what I mean?
Yes, I understand.
I hope it's clear. Like I'm sharing a lot of details here, so at any point, Eric, if something is not clear, let me know.
For sure. And this concept is pretty new to me, and I can see I can see the vast possibilities, and it's just a matter of asking the right question at this point.
100%. And it's new to me, by the way. Like, it's also new to me relatively when thinking about Web3M's, tools that exist. We're talking about a pretty innovative and recent solution that we developed. So when I'm speaking about it, probably you can hear it in my voice as well. I'm also like thinking as we speak, like I'm trying to, kind of like circle some use cases in my head, and like new ideas come to mind as we speak. So it's a good thing that we talk about it. And for us and for everyone, it's pretty new. So that's completely fine. I know that there's a lot of potential. Started working with this solution with the first clients just recently, and it looks promising.
So there, I mean, like every brand, uses KOLs. There's so many different niches, in Web3. So like, just for an example, for that specific client, not to bring up any names, obviously, we can't do that. But whenever it came to their experience with using this specific tool, could you kind of outline their experience with it, or did you already bring it up with the gaming?
So it actually, like an example that I have in mind for a gaming client, right? And like I couldn't specify some, kind of like metrics about conversions, because it's like we're actually in the process at the moment, at least with this client. But what I can tell you like right now, is that the whole, let me call it, approach they take with this campaign, with the KOLs, is changed almost completely with this set of tools that we provide. Because now it's not about, let me get this budget approved with my, with my partner or my boss, and hope for the best, But we have a starting point in terms of, actual metrics. So I know what to expect, because I not only have the name of those KOLs and the amount of followers they have, I know how many of those followers are actually relevant to me or are within my target segment. I know what is the dollar value in wallets of those users, and I can track the entire campaign, not only the posts, and see how much engagement did I get, but the entire process moving from the post into, let's say, for example, my website, and then my web game, web app, which is the game, for example, connecting wallets into the game, if that's the case, depending, it is the case for our client, and like, playing the game, like whatever is your use case is, we're able to track the whole thing because of our Pixel, which is our tracking system.
Sure.
So like, you literally, the whole approach is much more data driven and performance driven, which is key. Basically, it's key for everyone. Eventually, the whole pain in marketing and the whole, let me tell you this, I see fear sometimes in the eyes of people who meet with us, in the first call at least. Because, they hear about this innovative idea, not only the influencers, but on-chain targeting and many other things that we provide. But they don't know if it's going to be a success, or even if it's not going to be a success from the get-go, they don't know if they have the capabilities to set up the entire tracking properly. And sometimes they even don't know how to do it, or they know to do it to some degree. But eventually, tracking the entire process, it is a real pain, especially if it's like cross-platforms.
Sure.
And so we changed the game with these set of tools by allowing clients to literally go performance-driven and data-driven, not as a slogan, but literally, like tracking the actual metrics, seeing everything visually in a dashboard without connecting and integrating 10 different tools, and literally work this way. So that's the change that we try and bring, and we believe this is how it should be. So it's not something like that we, invented the idea of tracking a user funnel or user journey, but we kind of like created a unified platform and a set of tools to be incorporated into your marketing strategy, allowing you to track everything on chain and off chain in anything that you do, literally.
So finding these KOLs, understanding the percentage of the audience that meets your criteria of what you're looking for in terms of users, onboarding these KOLs to work with them. There's no more guesswork anymore. It's no, it's no just using the history of their successes in the past to see, what kind of impact they could potentially have with your brand and your marketing campaigns that you're going to run. You'll be able to see exactly. And let me ask you this: the users that are within that KOL's audience, they're following, can you see their activity based off, like, is there any way to see, like, how active they actually are within the past, like, couple days, or is there any analytics behind that part?
On
Yeah,
Twitter,
on Twitter, like, say you want to go with the KOL. Okay.
Yes. You have this. You have the. You know what? That's a great use case. Actually, I noted myself, and you see what it's like when you think about everything is possible data wise. Now, just get creative and track what's mattered to you. So, for example, you can filter out KOLs that also we didn't talk about. You didn't mention, and that's okay. But you didn't mention the engagement rates of those KOLs that we also bring you in this comparison table of insights, and also, again, the dollar value of the wallets of the followers of this KOL is another factor. So thinking about how much of a potential there is for monetization, for conversion here, because let's say you have one KOL that have this amount of followers, and combined their wallets are worth, I don't know, like $50 million, against another one that the total wallet value of their audience would be, I don't know, $500,000 only. So you look at everything in a different way. The approach is different. The approach is much more, performance driven, exactly like you mentioned right now, which is an amazing example, right? So only targeting KOLs that have active users and engaged users.
Wow. And you can find the total worth of the audience. That is
exactly
awesome. And I can see that, not only, you're gathering all this, you literally have everything you need to make the best decision for your brand's future marketing efforts. There's nothing.
That's exactly what we try and bring to the table. Exactly.
Got it. So not only that, but say you don't want to employ, and actually I have a space here in 1 minute, but I just want to bring up this one thing that I had in mind, is that you don't have to reach out to KOLs to employ them to market for 1 ETH. You don't have to pay 1 ETH or whatever to acquire these KOLs to market for you. There's so many brands that are wanting to find KOLs, micro KOLs, or really well-established users within Twitter that want to join your ambassador program. And
and affiliate with you.
That's a massive value for your brand if you can, say, reach out to 1,000 potential ambassadors that meet your specific requirements. And I know brands that they spend their entire they spend so much resources and time trying to find these ambassadors. And that would be awesome to be able to provide a brand with a way to acquire these ambassadors, in a seamless, quick, and efficient way.
Eric, deliver those people to me.
Yes. Well, Israel, I hate to cut this off so quick. I want to keep on talking as we normally do every single week, but I do got to go. I got a space here right now, actually.
Always a pleasure, man. Enjoy your space.
Thank you so much for joining. And everybody, if you guys want to definitely give us a follow at Web3M on LinkedIn. We'll be here every single Thursday at 3:30 p.m. UTC. And if you guys want to join us for spaces, I'm getting ready to jump on a space right now. You guys want to join us for a space? app.web3m.io. We hold spaces for free for brands that want to market organically. So Israel, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. We'll talk at you later.